So today we are super happy to receive Nicolas Kozubek at home, the Propel by MIPIM director. Hi, Nicolas. Do you hear me?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yeah, perfect, perfect. Thank you very much. So Nicolas, today you're gonna explain some more about the Propel identity, the different events and the brands, etc. So please, we are listening to you.
Do you see my screen?
Yeah, perfect.
Okay, so yeah, I will I will try to be as brief as possible, taking the 20 minutes, and happy to answer all of your questions after this session. The most important for the Propel by MIPIM brand is the change of the name, as you can discover, because last year and even the first months of this year, we were called MIPIM PROPTECH. So the branding has evolved to become Propel by MIPIM. And I will use these charts, which I guess is very self-explanatory, to explain why we decided to go for this rebranding. It has nothing to do with moving away from PropTech, because PropTech will be even more central in the years to come for us. But at the same point, what you can easily see in that chart is that PropTech is highly connected with other technological trends and sectors that shape the future of the built environment. And on our side, it's very important to remain connected with what the real estate, our historical partner, wants to discover in terms of technologies and innovation. So we decided to widen a bit the scope, reason why we move away, at least in the name, from PropTech. On the other side, you can see that we will talk about smart city, and actually I don't like the name smart city at all, but we want to talk about the future and the present of our cities and how they will evolve and be empowered or maybe endangered by technologies and innovation. And same, we want to attract local authorities to the event because they have to be in that kind of conversation. So the idea behind the change in the name is really to give more air and to be wider in the approach, but clearly focused on what's next in terms of technology and innovation for the real estate industry. We're gonna have 5 pillars that are like the topics that we're gonna use a lot in the months to come. And I guess that none of them is a surprise, but I will just take 2 minutes to explain why we decided to focus on these ones and not other ones. Sustainability, it can start to be a cliche because everyone is talking about sustainability, but unless I'm proven wrong, there's still so much to do that it needs to be central in the approach of every tech and innovation components that we will tackle. And when you talk about sustainability, we want to give it the widest meaning as possible and talk about energy efficiency, new mobility, and attract the actors that are working in that field and can serve the evolution of the built environment. At the same time, it's important for us to talk about sustainability in a social way, because we know that in terms of purchasing power, in terms of access to the cities, it can become a challenge, especially with innovation, to continue integrating all population, to continue being as inclusive as possible. So sustainability is key. Investment, I think it's one of the favorite topics for the listeners in general. We have started on this topic by collaborating with Real Estate for the French market. We issued a survey at the beginning of the year that was presented by Vincent Pavanello during the last week of the daily talks. We are actually working on a special report dedicated to investments to be issued probably in September or October next to our events in Paris and New York, and be able to measure the consequences of what's going on and to shed some light on what is at stake for the years to come in terms of investment in technologies and innovation for real estate. Data, it's well known too, but at some point we consider that the focus has been a lot on data collection this last year. And I guess that the market is asking more and more about how we're going to use this data and how we can prove efficient use case in terms of value creation. So we are interested in all topics related to value creation through data. And at the same time, cybersecurity and data ethics are not really well covered to us. So we're going to invest time and efforts to cover these topics. And on that, we are lucky to have the support of Dan Hughes from Liquid Real Estate, who is passionate about data, so he will support us in these initiatives. Talent is probably the topic we are not talking at all, or for very scarce time, just because for us it's as important as the technologies. Technology don't matter without the people working on it. And for especially the major companies, it's really important to define the right policy, to attract the right talent, and to define the way to collaborate between their innovation teams and tech companies. So it will be one of the most important highlights in the conversation in the weeks and years to come. And finally, user experience, no surprise, when it comes to product design, when it comes to the new forms of living, walking, and commuting, and even the urban fabrics, user experience is all around, and we need to be as customer-centric as possible. So all these 5 topics will be kind of all around for us. They will be in the industry content we're going to provide. We want to have them for the daily talks. We want to have them in the conference program that we are working on, and even in special reports we're going to work on. To give you some hints about what we are doing right now, because we know that event companies are always considered as event companies. So when they are not organizing events, what do? This is the reason why we decided to launch these daily talks. And it's very important for everyone to remind that it's free to attend and free to participate. So if you want to be part of this type of conversation, you can easily have the stage for you in the weeks to come. It's proven successful in terms of people who want to attend and people who want to share. And at the same time, do not forget that it will bring to your brand a large visibility across all Propel channels, and I will give you some details about that because we highly communicate on this right now. And last but not least, it's still important to make little moments happen. We are, I think, good in creating big moments. Now we need to learn and to create smaller moments, but that are meaningful for the community. So this is what we try to do. And next, for these daily talks, starting next week, you will see an improvement in terms of US content, with a great session on Monday. I will talk to you about it. There will be a Propel by MIPIM tour online experiment, and I will give you details about what is the tour. And finally, at the end of the first months of the daily talks, we're gonna question you to know what's good, what's bad, and what we can improve in the way we are doing that. In a way, we do that because we all stay at home, but it's here to stay, and we are developing other features and other products to improve the online experience with Propel. So it's very important to connect with you and know what's important for you. These are the channels I was talking about. I haven't given all the figures on that presentation, but you can easily reach out to us and ask for what is the reach of the different platforms. And on this, I don't even mention the MIPIM database and all the tools we have that can be used at some point in complement to the Propel initiatives. So it's in a way, there's the people attending to the session and there's the people seeing lots of communication. So in terms of brand awareness, it's very important. And just because we know it's not possible to connect everyone at the same time, this session will be available on a platform we are working on right now. So for people who didn't attend, it's still valuable because the content will be available days after the sessions. As I wanted to tell you, next week we have a stellar program actually. Metaprop has just announced, so it's absolutely new. It's like a 2 hours fresh news that Maureen Waters, an industry leader and former 10X president, has joined the company, and Aaron will be with her on Monday to talk about their PROPTECH startup growth initiative, especially in these specific times. On Tuesday, there will be Rudy Arnoux from the European Commission. He's a chief economist and was part of the Propel by MIPIM event in Paris last week. He's going to tell you about all the funding opportunities that the European Commission has launched. And with him, there will be our friend Dirk from PropTech House, who has been really instrumental in connecting us with the European Commission and helping us spreading the word to the industry. Wednesday, Wouter, that most of you may know, will present you a brand new smart building certification. It's just launched with Elizabeth Nelson and looks like a very promising project, especially in terms of connectivity and in terms of sustainability. And finally, JLL will be present on Thursday with Alex Eds. JLL is a long-time partner and we are happy to have them on board. So for us, it's very exciting to see that most of our partners have found ways to develop content and to share news and spread news. And this is the reason why we're here, just to spread the word and to help promote what's going on. Enjoy some drink. It's not alcohol, it's just water. So getting closer with the Propel tour. Actually, before the situation we live in, we decided that the large-scale event that we are organizing are nice, but at some point we need to connect on a more regular basis with our different partners and with the local ecosystems. That's the reason why, starting in London in December 19 and Paris January 2020, we launched smaller scale events in partnership with Real Estate Association and Tech and Innovation Association from the different countries to gather participants from the industry for lighter session, 3 hours format, with the right mix between content and networking that is free to attend to, and that is a good way for us to understand a bit more about what's going on in the different regions. So we started with Europe, with the UK and France, and unfortunately we had to cancel lots of events that were forecast in Copenhagen, in Tel Aviv, in Berlin, in Munich, but we are working right now, to be in the right conditions to relaunch this small scale event as soon as it's possible to organize small scale event. I'm talking about 100, 200, 250 people, which we guess is nice for content providing for people. And we're gonna precede these expectations by trying an online format of this Propel tool. So we are discussing with several partners to see how we can do it online and not wait for our capacity to do it offline. And we're gonna announce soon, an initiative in the US, because US is one of our most important market, as you all know. So we're gonna explore the different ecosystems there too. At the end of this Propel tour, for the European one, there will be an exclusive European survey that will be published by our partners from Impulse Partners. So they are working on the specific topic that I mentioned, which is innovation. So what? We want to discuss with the real estate industry about what's good, what's bad, what's working, and what are the problems they meet when it comes to the transformation and innovation, and create a report that will cover the different countries and be as insightful as possible for the whole industry. It will be issued in September. So when it comes to the large events, as you know, we had to postpone the Paris event. It was planned 30th of June, 1st of July, and now we are going for 14 and 15 of September. You all know the situation. We know the situation too. We are just monitoring things, but as an event organizer, the most important we can do is to be in the right condition to deliver a great event if we can deliver it. So we see the situation evolving day after day in every country. So definitely we are looking at that, and at the same time, the teams are highly motivated to create appropriate content and create the moment if the moment is possible. Last year it was at Le 104 for the second edition. For those who are not there, it's not the traditional exhibition space. It's more of a culture and art space that is owned by the city of Paris, actually. And we decided to go for this place because it could give a different flavor to the event. And it worked quite well. In terms of attendance, we gathered a bit less than 2,000 people. And yeah, at the beginning of the summer, there was very good vibes, and the event was appreciated overall. So we decided to confirm that we're gonna go to this place again. It was the case end of June. It will be the case in September. And we are happy to be able to convene people to this event in the months to come. These are what we expect on a usual basis for this event. Again, we need to wait and see what's going on. We know that unfortunately, we cannot travel and meet other people right now. Maybe the French flavor at some point will be higher this year than what we expect, but it's important for us to keep in mind that this event is a European event, and the main stake for us is to be able to gather all the stakeholders from our European partners, and not only France. So we need to find the good balance. And even if there will be more French, it will still be in English, because we know French are not the best one to accept to speak English, but we all can do it if we try. So this is our expectations for the Paris event. And actually we had quite a good start in terms of participants. Just for you to know, it's not the full list. The full list is available on the website, but we are happy as sponsors to have newcomers in our events like Schneider Electric, Prologis, and Pi Labs, who were not there last year. And actually, they are all interested by the way we conduct this business and the way we want to conduct the industry. And they join us with JLL for sure. That has been from the beginning an intense follower of what we do. With the Spark and JLL Technologies Initiative, they will have a very strong presence against this year. And when it comes to exhibitors, so it's just a glimpse, but just for you to know, there are names that can be unexpected, like Saint-Gobain and ArcelorMittal. It's just for us to show that A, companies are ready to follow us. B, it's different type of companies, because for what we want to do, we need to give space and visibility to a wider scale of participants. And this is exactly what I was explaining at the beginning. So for sure, there will be still lots of PropTech companies. Last year, we had 150 of these, but there will be, I think, a better mix. And when it comes to PropTech companies, do not hesitate to reach out to the networks, UKPA in the UK, PropTech Denmark in Denmark. And in France, we have Impulse Partners, Paris & Co, Real Estate, and French PropTech. They are all around with us, and they will have a very strong input during this event. So if you're a startup and interested to participate, don't hesitate to connect with them, because we are working actively with them. Briefly, most important is the business. It will be the case in September. So we are actively working on making things as easy as possible in terms of connection by creating a new matchmaking tools that will empower people to organize as many business meetings as possible. And on site, there will be special places to hold meetings in a quiet atmosphere, in a privileged atmosphere. A reminder, it's very important to prepare these kind of events, because sometimes we have people who say that they were not able to connect with as many people as expected or with the right partners. The database that we are providing online is always a great tool to anticipate and to set meetings in advance. And this is how the events should work. But at the same time, we know that some people will not be prepared. So we will provide means and connections on site to make things possible. When it comes to the vision, it's not surprising. The content will be more original. We want to have speakers from other industries talk about what they experience in terms of change. And we want to, in a way, have lighter session. I don't mean that we should not have lots of speakers, but sometimes when I see 4 or 5 speakers in the same session, you listen to the session and then you realize that people don't really have time to talk about what they want to talk. So for us, it will be important to find the inspirational speakers and to let them time to speak. So maybe fewer sessions, maybe fewer speakers, but bigger impacts expected. And when it comes to the program, it will be communicated, I think, in 2 to 3 weeks. Actually, we had to rebuild it from the beginning, because for us, it was just pointless to say the program that we had in June. We just put it and copy paste it September with all that's going on. We try to reinvent the topics and the conversation. Living an experience is really important for us. This is the reason why I discussed about the venue. There will be artistic showcases. There will be some musical experience. There will be lots of unexpected things to happen, and at the same time, experiential stuff where people will have to participate. We are working on a hackathon, design thinking, serious game, all these type of smaller scale formats. We'll try to engage the community to participate and to think together and network together in specific formats, and not just sitting and listening to session. We want to do it more, and we want to find the flavor of an event that is surprising and exciting. We all know that it's important to do online content, but I guess that nobody is very happy to say that maybe in the years to come we will not be able to have an event. So it's important for us to remind that an event and creating live connection will be important just because we are a human being, and the future is not only in being online, hopefully. And when it comes to the tech content, and for those who have content to provide, happy to connect, it's because for us, sometimes we forget a bit about talking about actually what are the different tech, and we are talking a bit too much about this is the solution. So we want to dig a bit into the details of tech to ensure that people and real estate professionals understand what are these tech to make them more prone to buy and to do business with that. Last but not least, for sure, the New York event is planned 9 and 10 of November this year. Just a few pictures, same for those who were not able to attend the New York event last year. It's the last time we were in a, let's say, in a small scale venue, and it's important for you to remind a few stuff about the New York event. Actually, we started in 2016, and it was with our partners from MetaProp. We decided to collaborate on creating a PropTech event at the time where it was just buzzing. We took our time to discover this market that was not the most obvious market for a European based company. But we have learned with the help of MetaProp, and we met lots of connection there. And actually, I can tell you that for the intersection between real estate and innovation, New York City is a must. Reason why we want in the years to come to accelerate the development of this event and to put it in the front of what is called the New York Real Estate Tech Week that is held by MetaProp. Actually, this event is only one of the events that we are holding, and there are several other partners and influential companies that organize their event the whole week. So it's always a very exciting week to participate because it's buzzing. There are things all around. So it's nice to be part of it. So we're gonna accelerate the transition for this event, and we're gonna go to the River Pavilion in the JAVITS Center, which is the main exhibition space for New York. And actually it will be 3 times the size of the event we had last year. So it's a huge challenge. It's even more a challenge this year due to the context, but the perspective is there for us. We know that there's a market appetite to do a large international event, because what is exciting with New York, and as you see, is that there are only 60% US participants. And actually the major delegations we already had last year were Israel, Japan, Canada. Hundreds of people are coming from different countries for specifically this event, which shows the appetite for the market to see what's going on in New York and to foster the conversation with this extremely powerful market for tech and innovation. So as a synthesis, keep in mind, I guess, 2 things. What we can do now to help is really going on together with these daily talks, spreading the word and participate. Feel free to reach out to us. Second point, the Propel tour that is gonna restart in the weeks to come, either online or offline. And finally, there will be new online features that will be accessible for content and interaction in the weeks to come. We are actively working to continue launching new services to the market. What we are working on is Propel Paris, New York. Hong Kong is an interesting one. I've not mentioned it because it's later in the year, but we definitely want to continue speaking with the real estate industry there about innovation, because there are lots of interest, and it's always connecting with the MIPIM Asia events that is held beginning of December. So we are planning to go back there to provide interesting pieces of content and networking. Whatever happens, we will adapt to the context, and most importantly, we are a whole team of different specialties for marketing, communication, key account management, available to help, available to talk and to provide as much exposure and as much advice as possible. So please reach out to us, and I guess it's the end for me, and I'm happy to receive some questions.
Thank you very much, Nicolas. Great. Let's start by, you've talked about the American week, the New York real estate week, but not that much about Paris. And I'm sure a lot of people have heard about the next move for also for MIPIM. Can you tell some more about the week in September in Paris?
Yeah, actually, last week we did kind of a pilot project with the MIPIM PROPTECH teams to have a real estate week with several events created by partners, and we want to reconduct that this year, and at the same time to connect with MIPIM, because as you all know, MIPIM could not be held in the first semester. So the teams at MIPIM have strong intentions to provide valuable content in Paris in September, and I guess that there will be some communication issued next week or the week after. But yeah, the idea is really to have the Propel event on Monday, Tuesday, and other events on different themes for sure later in the week.
Perfect, great. I got a question about the companies which are already confirmed for Paris and for the New York event.
So maybe I can come back to, so the companies confirmed in Paris, you have them already on the website. Maybe Guillaume, you can share after that the link, because this is just a glimpse of the companies that are confirmed. So it's important for us to provide people with the whole list. For New York, actually, we're just starting the process of gathering the different partners. So it's still early stage, but I think we will be able to provide a first list end of May, I guess. And as you can imagine, there's still lots of conversation ongoing. We are just in the starting phase. And what is interesting for us actually is that we have several companies that were part of MIPIM, the initial plan in Cannes, and most of them told us if the conditions are right, whether it's in the US or in Paris, we are interested to participate to something under the MIPIM brand. If we can foster innovation, let's position what is important for us in terms of innovation. There's an appetite for that. So actually, we are quite optimistic about the answer from the market if the context is the right one.
Great. Can I get any other question for now? I'm trying to have a look. No, thank you very much. I don't think it's all for now. There any other question now, but nothing more. Great. So okay. I mean, it's like 30 minutes. I think it's quite good. Thank you very much for all these explanations, Nicolas, and stay safe.
Thank you, and yeah, stay safe, everyone. It's important to keep the right balance, I guess. Not take any risk, at the same time think about what the future is holding. So I will be very happy to reconnect with the people we are working with for real as soon as possible. Have a good day.
There are some people asking about your contact details, so we'll give you back there.
No problem. It's a pleasure.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye-bye.